I'm Dr. Wichterman, and this is Sacred Psychology. I don't know about you, but every time I go to the doctor, it seems like I'm handed a prescription. I don't know anything that I could go for where they wouldn't hand me some type of prescription. Something hurts, pain medication. I'm sick, give me an antibiotic. It doesn't really matter. Today, I want to talk specifically about ADHD and medication. I'm not a medical doctor, and so I can't speak to these things as if I were a medical doctor. But I do ADHD testing with people, and I also do therapy with people who've been traumatized. And I know that I'm tired of those folks that I serve just getting handed medication and no other alternatives to treatment. Now, before I get too far into the topic, I want to ask you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It would mean a whole lot. Today, I want to tell you 6 things that I tell my clients to look into as alternatives to medication. Now, I have a list of another 6 or 7, and I'll do a second video on those. But I want to tell you about these 6 today. The first one is hyperbaric chambers. Now, you want to make sure you have medical clearance to use these. They actually, in many cases, require a medical doctor to run them for you. But hyperbaric chambers are starting to show, at least in the research, some help with ADHD symptoms. Adding more and more oxygen to the body can be really healthy and helpful for the brain and help the brain to heal. And so the ADHD symptoms they're finding can be somewhat alleviated. Number 2 is red light therapy, especially red light therapy in saunas, because there's added benefit. But you want to make sure that these red lights have low EMF and the proper type of red light for whatever you're dealing with. But they found it to be especially helpful with ADHD because it lowers inflammation in the brain and it helps your brain to work better overall. But I will say that the sauna versions of red lights are especially helpful in other areas of life. There's been research recently that shows that saunas done 3 to 4 times a week. I've read a couple of different things and the numbers were different, but 3 to 4 times a week, 20 to 30 minutes at either 160 or 170 degrees can actually help to lower your risk of cardiovascular issue, heart problems, etc. by half. I'll take that on top of treating any ADHD symptoms anytime. But there's clear light saunas, and there's a couple other brands that are pretty high quality, low EMF, high power red light, really helpful. Number 3 is focus techniques. There are actual focus video games that you can get as ancillary treatment options to anything else that you're doing that will actually help to retrain your brain to think and focus better. Some of them require a prescription. I'm not going to say the specific ones, just a general Google search will show you. And they have been found, at least with my clients, to actually really help with the other work that they're doing. Number 4 is running and swimming. Swimming especially, it's something about being in the water, but those distance sports where you're using both sides of your body, swimming like this, running obviously both legs and arms, you activate both sides of the brain and it can increase focus, it can zone out noise. Sometimes people hate it just because of that and they're not used to it. But the research shows that it's really, really effective and helpful, especially done regularly, not to mention the positive hormones you get out of that kind of exercise. Number 5 is supplements. Things like fish oil, zinc, vitamin D3, which is actually better than DK, I've read in the research for people with ADHD, saffron, all of these things are supposed to be helpful with the symptoms of ADHD. Just those simple supplements so far is the best thing I've found. I have not found a complex, multiple multivitamin, you could say, in the store or online for ADHD. It's hard to market them for that, but they call them things like Focus and Calm and things like that. Those oftentimes have things like sugar and other junk in them that you don't really want in your body that end up counteracting some of the positive effects of those supplements in the first place because they can cause inflammation in the brain, cause you to feel hyperactive, they can cause a crash, all that kind of stuff. Now, the last one, number 6, is vagus nerve work. I'm not an expert on vagus nerve or polyvagal theory. I just know from talking to colleagues and people that I've listened to over the years and friends and reading some of the research that polyvagal theory or vagus nerve work that runs all the way down your body, it seems to affect everything. But just simple exercises that stretch and calm the vagus nerve can actually help with the symptoms of ADHD. It could be that it's just not ADHD in your system. It could be that you have this overall, just kind of general heightened sense and arousal. Those are the 6 things for now. I'll get to some more. Those are the 6 things that you can look into that could help with your ADHD symptoms. Now, again, I want to stress, if you have any other health issues or any kind of struggles or anything along those lines, that you might need a medical doctor's clearance before you do these things, I really suggest you do it. Because while hyperbaric chambers and red light saunas, for instance, are good for you, if you have certain medical conditions, they can actually cause some harm. So make sure that you are getting clearance from your medical doctor if there's even a slight question whether you should or not. Hey all, I started a newsletter called Trying to Pay Attention. I'm going to put the link to the sign up for the newsletter in the description below and hope that you'll consider signing up. If you're somebody with ADHD or have a kid or an adolescent with ADHD in your family, or if you just think you might have the symptoms and you're looking for treatment options outside of medication. Medication can be really helpful for many people, but most people don't realize there are tons of other treatment options, including things that aren't meant specifically for ADHD, but they help with overall brain function and health, and therefore help with your ADHD symptoms at the same time. It's a beautiful thing. So again, if you're interested, the link to the sign up to the website, tryingtopayattention.com, is in the description below. Thank you.